Like I say, in the long distance past, probably around Germany, somewhere around there, I was having air travel and air freight shipped. I think probably in Germany or around Russia or someplace. But basically, I was shipping air freight around, and pretty much I was having a problem because people were shooting down my aircraft or shooting down my passenger aircraft, and they were basically they would pick through the items to find anything of value that they could take. Because a long time ago, people used to have a lot of gold on them and a lot of other stuff, so they would go up in an aircraft and they'd shoot down the the passenger aircraft, and basically then they would pick through whatever was not damaged or destroyed, which usually, or they would wait until the aircraft landed and then they would hold the people for ransom, basically. And then I'd have to go back and go and get them back or get them out or pay their ransom or whatever. It's quite expensive. So what I started doing, like I say, is I started having fighter escorts on all my passenger and all my freight. Something that Germany you would see in Germany, basically, there would basically be one passenger, basically aircraft flying, and then you would see two German aircraft flying next to it. And if I had to have every single one of my aircraft or my passenger services escorted by fighter aircraft, then that's what I was going to do, until it stopped. And then when some idiot came up in one of his aircraft to shoot down my passenger aircraft, like I said, I made a lot of money, and everyone basically used my service because I had fighter escorts on all my services. Anytime, anytime anyone flew in with it's probably why TWA became so big and so powerful, is because, well, for one thing, I had to basically build the aircraft and have the aircraft myself, but then I also had fighter escorts for those aircraft. I would have fighter escorts next to two on each side, or one on each side, basically, of every passenger service that would take off, or at least one aircraft. And I think I even rented out my gun aircraft, basically. My German pilots, because aircraft were, I mean, they were doing a lot of stuff. They would put a 50 cal on the wings of a Cessna or the wings of a private aircraft, basically, and turn it into a gunship, pretty much, and try and shoot down passenger aircraft. And then my real fighter aircraft would have to go and shoot them down, and they'd crash and die, and then 80 people get from point A to point B, and my ticket sales go up because everyone knows that if you fly with Lucifer or White Star lines, you fly safe, because I had fighter aircraft flanking all my aircraft. It's kind of why I did so well in Germany and did so well everywhere, is because anywhere my ships went, a warship or a submarine went with them. Basically, if I had to have armed guards on every single one of my transports, that's what I was going to do. Like I said, in more recent years, we have air marshals and stuff like that, and radar and stuff like that. But, as technology changes, I would change with the technology. So you'd find it in Germany most of all, basically. I mean, back in the old days, there used to be air crashes back then, too, and we would have accident investigations just like we do now. And I would have only back then I had more fighter escorts. Like every single plane that I had in the air had a fighter escort with it, because they got shot down that much. If you didn't have a fighter aircraft, somebody would just see it and go, "Ah," and then it's funny. I invented the Harrier jet, and the Harrier jet probably was a problem for other jets for that too. I mean, I had to basically own this. At some point in time, I had to lock down the skies, basically, just like. It's Lucifer White Star lines. I own Germany, I own America, and I wanted my civilians to be safe. So on all my passenger aircraft, I had a fighter escort all the time. Every time almost, basically. Until it wasn't a problem, and then we didn't really need it anymore. But still, protecting the friendly skies, as they say, was their motto. But basically, my real government, real military, we protected and served. So basically, I started out as just a normal shipping and manufacturing company, but then, like I said, when my passenger aircraft were getting shot down, I supplied fighter aircraft to go up there. I had my team design a fighter aircraft or an aircraft with guns, and they did. And not just something bolted on the wings. Like I said, there's a lot of things like Cessnas and just whatever, where they would just bolt guns on the wings and go up there and go, and I had the real aircraft, which was the guns mounted in and everything all perfect on there. I had the real aircraft with guns actually built in and ammo racks built in, so you could actually pull it off, get to the ammo, put it back up. I had all the really good. I had the real aircraft, whereas everyone else had basically 50 cals bolted to the wings, which sometimes, well, he fired and his wing ripped off. Oh well, that's what you get. I mean, hey, I had the real, the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes were my aircraft, and the cannon and stuff. I put the can. I had the cannon mounted onto the front of it, just just as a joke, really. Well, I mean, there are all these what's it called, pirates that are pirating my ships. So I'd have air patrols flying, to keep my ships safe. And there were submarines in there that were pirating my ships. So we had to be able to take them out. And I needed something cheap and easy that could actually take out a submarine or whatever. Anyway, yeah. So I'm basically everything military, pretty much. That's what I did. That's what I had. And that's kind of why I ended up owning Germany and Russia and America, is because everyone was so safe with me. Everyone knew with Lucifer White Star around, you were safe. There was some level of security. There's someone out there that basically made sure that you didn't just die in the streets, that they didn't just go around chopping off heads, that someone was looking out for them. And that's what I did. So I did it all on a lot of other planets too. I did a lot of things. I stopped a lot of bad stuff from happening throughout my existence. Other people, I had 4 races or 4 life form types that were with me, or other planets. So whenever there was a problem, we went in there and we fixed it. I became very well known, I believe, galactically and universally. Like I said, I'm very, very, very well known, actually. In fact, they consider me, I believe, like the protector of life, pretty much. The protectorate, because I protected life. I kept life safe. Anytime there's an innocent person or a helpless person, basically, I was the bigger, better thing. I had more. I had more metal, I had more guns, I had more aircraft, and I protected people, life forms, for a very long time. I didn't just create life, I protected it. So I enjoyed protecting it. Like I say, I always enjoyed helping people. I loved being the one that could reach down and say, it's okay, you're safe now. I'm not going to hurt you anymore. Because I hated. Well, I was a very powerful, very rich, very well off. Well, I mean, creator of life forms of existence, of particles and stuff. I created the laws. I invented all the stuff. I invented the tanks. I did all that. And so it's also, I felt bad too. It's because, I had needed these things to help people and protect people, and other people were going to use these things to hurt people and destroy people's lives. So, and a lot of people felt helpless, and I didn't want them to feel helpless. So I was never helpless. So anyway. So like I said, I owned Auschwitz. I owned a lot of different things. I used to have fighter escorts on all my passenger jets, and take care of people. Not just own America, and not just create stars and suns, but actually do real things.